Welcome to the Full of Tracy Monday audio commentary. This is Owen Tracy recording, and it is 3:35 p.m. That is Central Time. Today is March 8th, and today being Friday, it's the big picture, long-term audio and video for the various different asset classes. And there's been quite a bit of discussion in the markets over the last couple of days about what the natural rate of interest is, or what R star is, what is more in the academic literature discussed. So you had Larry Summers talking about it being somewhere around 4-ish. You have the Federal Reserve talking about it being somewhere around 2.5%. And then you have the Holston Laubach Williams natural rate of interest measure developed by a couple of the Fed employees back in 2003. And they estimate that it's going, or at least their model estimates, that it's somewhere around 0.75%. Now that's quite the spread, but the answer, and of course the problem with estimating this thing, is that nobody exactly knows what the answer is, and that it's really only observable in hindsight. And even then there's a good deal of discussion about how whether in fact it is accurate. So what we really have here is a discussion about how many angels can fit on the head of a pin, because we don't really know what the natural rate of interest is. And yet, we're going to have central bankers making decisions about what happens with interest rates based upon their assumptions as to what it is. So, certainly, we're at an interesting point here, because there is an awfully big range of potential outcomes based on which way central bankers decide to go. So certainly this has been a very interesting week. We've had gold up almost every single day. Bitcoin hit a new all-time high. Ethereum has been on a very strong recovery trend. The enthusiasm around artificial intelligence is getting a little bit of questioning. Certainly the consensus has taken a little bit of a beating over the last few days. On the one hand, you have the OpenAI, where certainly that has been the leader, and news today that when ChatGPT is used to sort through resumes or CVs, that it has an implicit bias. So that's not great news. You had Google's Gemini earlier this week putting or not being able to differentiate between what a Netflix show looks like and what historical reality looks like. And that was something that really has weighed on the share. What we've also seen is that some of the very bullish estimates for what phone sales would look like in China have been pegged back. Domestic Chinese consumers are preferring to buy Huawei rather than Apple, and the share pulled back on the back of that. So we've certainly started to see a little bit of pause and consolidation, particularly within the mega caps. What is particularly interesting, regardless of that point, is that we're seeing more interest in the broad stock market. So in fact, breadth is improving despite the fact that breadth is narrowing within that already exceptionally narrow pinnacle of strong performance from the mega caps. Then oil prices have been quite volatile. We've been up a few days, down a few days. Then we've had the beginning of a short covering rally starting in some of the grains and beans. There's been quite a lot of volatility in the cotton market, up the limit yesterday, down the limit in here today. So certainly a lot of indecision coming through there. And then equally, we had a good sized move on the upside yesterday from copper, a good sized down move in here today. Then the US dollar was weak for most of, or just about every day this week, but then recouped a lot of its intraday loss in here today. So we're certainly seeing some indecision starting to come through in here. And there's plenty of things to think about.